So the next one, let's see if I can, no, I can't remember it. The next question we had was, n squared minus 9 over 25 equals 0. So this one, I even helped you out. I didn't even write it as a function. I just said, hey, here's the equation, solve, right? Now, automatically, when you guys look at this, there's a couple different ways you guys could solve this. I know I put the fraction in there because I know once students see fractions, a lot of them just freeze up and won't even try it. So, there's a couple different ways to do this. I think the easiest way, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one variable, so we can apply the square root method. So I have n squared minus 9 over 25 equals 0. Well, if you only have one variable, isolate and use the inverse operations. So add 9 over 25 on both sides. So therefore you have n squared equals 9 over 25. Now, what's happening to my variable? It's being multiplied by itself. So to undo that, I need to take the square root on both sides. And please remember that if I take the square root of a over b, that's equal to the square root of a over the square root of b. Right? It's property of radicals. So therefore, n equals plus n minus 3/5. Right? Because you have to always include the positive and the negative. Yes?
Why can't you multiply both sides by 25? It would be 0 on the equal side and 25 and square.
Multiply both sides? You can. I'll show you that in a second. The other method that I was showing you, and I think the other way you guys can do this is you guys can determine, can I rewrite this as a difference in two squares? Well, yes, we can write this as n squared minus 3 over 5 squared equals 0. Yes? So now it's a difference in two squares. A squared minus b squared, the factored form is a minus b times a plus b. So this would be n minus 3/5 times n plus 3/5 equals 0. Use the zero product property. Therefore, n equals 3/5, n equals negative 3/5. Now, for those of you that solved it this way, do you see why we have to include the positive and the negative? You can see when doing it the zero product property, which is just a different method, produces a positive and a negative. So you have to make sure, guys, it's just not the positive value. All right? Does that make sense? Okay. Now, a couple of students did this. So I gave them n squared minus 9 over 25 equals 0. And yeah, they wanted to get rid of the fraction, right? Of course, why would you not want to get rid of the fraction? So I would multiply by 25 on both sides. All right, now remember though, when you multiply 25 on both sides, you need to distribute the 25 to both terms, right? So therefore it'd be 25 n squared minus those divided by 1 minus 9 equals 0. So now, to solve for n squared, add 9, so you get 25, n squared equals 9,
Wait,
divided by 25.
You have to multiply 9 by 25.
I did. 25 times 9, they divided by 25, the 25
right,
divided
right.
by 1, you're left with 9.
Okay.
So then you're still left with n squared equals 9 over 25, which is where we got right here.
Okay.
So it's the exact same thing. The main important thing that I saw when students did this is they didn't multiply the 25 times both terms. They only picked one term to do it. Okay? And that would have been it. Okay, any last questions on that? Multiplicity?